Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Marvel Multiverse RPG, and we're going to talk about Session 2. And I'm going to give you a field report on what occurred within Session 2. And specifically now we're going to talk about this AIM high-tech android. Custom character, John Doe is the name. Not my favorite name for a character, but it's where we're at, you know. The concept is that this high-tech android created by AIM does not know that he's an android, thinks that he's human, right, and is kind of kept in the dark by AIM, okay? And at this point, he's on Nowhere because he's been summoned to Nowhere by the Collector to help by the Collector to be given an offer. Enchantress blows up this building in Nowhere, Knower, and she immediately insists that Spider-Man is brought to her alive because she believes that Spider-Man has killed Red Skull and left his corpse to rot in an abandoned textile factory in New York City Hell's Kitchen. Okay. Then she also, and she's essentially offering a boon, right? She also says that she wants Red Skull's corpse. Okay. So at this point, the android had heard about some explosions at the android before going to Nowhere was on Earth and was living in the in the Hell's Kitchen, New York City area, which is a key Marvel site. It's primarily from Daredevil, but a few other heroes, and so basically, Enchantress says, "Hey, I'm putting out a bounty, or I'm giving a boon for anybody who brings me Spider-Man or anybody who brings me Red Skull's corpse," right? So this high-tech android, uses his power, which is the rogue power. He has the power to absorb powers from anyone around him. He absorbs Enchantress's power to teleport, which she can do with a spell. And actually now, on the other side of this, I was thinking, well, yeah, he could have just stolen magic and used magic to teleport. So and actually I appreciate that because the player, my Titanium player was like, I'm going to steal her ability to teleport, right? Which he did. He then teleports back to Hell's Kitchen, New York City, and immediately collects the body of Red Skull, and I made him roll 1d3 turns to do this, right? So he's coming back on 3 turns. In 3 turns of combat, Moon Knight dies, killed by Carnage. Miles Morales dies, killed by Green Goblin. Carnage is killed. Player Carnage, right, is killed by Hela, and Hela is killed by Green Goblin. That's a lot. That is a lot, right? But on the 3rd turn, the player returns with John Doe, the android, and the AIM, Advanced Ideas Mechanics, which is Baron von Strucker's evil organization. So this AIM-built high-tech android teleports back with Red Skull's body, and immediately goes right up to Enchantress and says, "Here's the body that you requested," right? And at that point, Enchantress immediately calms down, thanks him, takes the body of Red Skull into her arms, right? and thanks the high-tech android for retrieving this extremely important I don't want to. Well, it's a corpse, so there's no way around that. I was going to say relic, but in some ways it's a relic at this point, but the player characters aren't aware of that yet. And so Red Skull's corpse is returned to Enchantress. She thanks him, and then he asks questions of her, and the player is in this. He's trying to play a naive character who really doesn't know good from evil, and so he is trying to view Enchantress as not evil, right? And so he has this conversation with her, but it becomes apparent that she's somewhat evil. I mean, he had witnessed that she blew up this building and 5 people died immediately, right? And then there were bystanders who were dying as well. So, the clues are starting to dawn on him. So the clues are starting to dawn on this AIM high-tech android that he is serving an evil organization and that he is on a villain team, right? So there's some action around that. But it was really interesting that using his powers, this player did not waste any time trying to harm bystanders, right? But actually very quickly and very directly accomplished the entire quest that had been presented to the group in less than 3 rounds. It was pretty amazing. And it was very surprising. So that was another major event that happened within Session 2 of the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, and this is my field report for that. Thank you very much for letting me share it. Every single word of that is my opinion on Session 2 of Marvel Multiverse RPG. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion on Marvel's new Marvel Multiverse RPG, and what your encounters have been with either Marvel Multiverse RPG or any of the, I believe there are 5 editions. There's Phase Rip, there's Saga, there's Margaret Weiss's version, there's this one, and then I know there was at least one other. So that's at least 5 editions of Marvel's role-playing game have existed, and I think the count may even be higher. Like there might have been one more in there, but that is, and just to be clear, one of those was actually created by TSR. So the Dungeons and Dragons marrow runs deep in the bones of Marvel RPGs. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. I'm eager to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.